Wow, super kids! Welcome to another exciting year. And guess what? It's 2022. I believe last trimester was wonderful, and this trimester is going to be great with you and I exploring the world of science. Our first topic for this trimester is physical properties or physical changes of materials. Physical changes of material. First and foremost, you need to know some scientific fact about chemistry. I will start by chemistry is the branch of science that looks at composition of matter and how matter reacts under certain conditions. Secondly, every object or substance in the universe, from starfish to moon dust, is made of matter. Every object you see around you is made of matter. All matter has both physical, take note, all matter has both physical and chemical properties or changes. So all objects or some objects you see around you have physical or chemical changes. Now, what is a physical property or a physical change? A physical property or change is a property that can be observed without changing the identity of the substance, without a substance being changed from one state to another. For example, when an ice cube of water melts, it turns into a liquid form back to that water. So the physical properties of the water does not change. Next, some common physical properties are some common physical change you can see it all around you. We have 1. Color, 2. Texture, 3. Hardness, 4. Density, 5. Reflectivity, 6. Melting point, 7. Boiling point, 8. Magnetism. So these are some features of physical change or of physical property of materials. Next, we'll be seeing some examples of physical changes. 1. Crushing cans. Crushing of cans is an example of a physical change. The can does not change its physical property. 2. Melting an ice cube. As I said earlier, melting an ice cube is also an example of a physical change or physical property. Thirdly, boiling of water. Boiling water. Boiling water is also an example of a physical change. When water is being boiled, it doesn't change its physical form. It still remains water. It doesn't change to something else. Fourthly, mixing sand and water. Mixing sand and water is also an example of a physical change. The sand does not change to something else, and also the water doesn't change to something else. Next example, threading papers. Threading of papers, meaning cutting papers into pieces. So this is also an example of physical change. Next, breaking a glass. Breaking a glass. When glass is broken, the glass still remains its physical property, which is a glass. So it doesn't change its physical form. Next, chopping of wood. Chopping of wood is also an example of physical change. When wood are chopped into tiny or smaller pieces, they still remain or maintain their physical property. So super kids, these are some examples of physical change. Now you've learned a lot. Let's see a practical question. In a physical change or property of a material, the dash does not change in the material. The dash does not change in the material in physical change. Alright, I want to say my smart kid who will get the answer. The answer is the physical identity of the material does not change. I'll come again. The physical identity of the material does not change in a physical property. So the identity of that material remains the same. You got it right. That was lovely. Wow, super kids. I hope you've learned a lot. It has been an interesting lesson so far. Knowing that everything around you contains or has matter, and knowing the definition of a physical property and seeing some examples of a physical change or physical properties or some materials. In the next lesson, we'll be treating chemical change. Can't wait to see you guys. Bye.